Welcome to the Do Gooders podcast. This is the Faces of Newquay series. Today we speak to Alex and Harrison, who run vegan events in Cornwall. We have a really interesting chat about veganism, of course, but it also covers a lot about ethical living and sustainability for local communities. Should we start just by, you can each fill us in on what you're working on at the moment?
Go on, cake man.
Well, I'm running a little cake business, vegan cake business called Renaissance Cakery. Been doing it for about a year now, and it seems to be going pretty well. Doing local markets in a few local coffee shops, do private orders for birthday cakes and stuff like that.
We just had some of your carrot cake. It was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know that was definitely the first good vegan cake I've had.
Really?
Yeah. That wasn't.
What, even living in London?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. In London, you've got to go to food markets and stuff like that. You don't really get coffee shops with really nice cake. Especially I'm southwest London, so it's less trendy than in East London. You might get every corner, but and coffee on the corner was when I first moved here. I didn't have Wi-Fi in the flat, so I'd spend half a day working at Coffee on the Corner.
Bailey's lattes on tap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bailey's lattes and Alex's cake every day.
That's kind of where I launched the business essentially, because I started with the idea and then I was just going around to a few coffee shops asking if they'd be interested in stocking vegan cake, because obviously it's veganism as a diet is growing quite a lot. I just went round to a load of places in town. I was looking for a kitchen at the time to a kitchen share with a local business, but it proved quite a bit harder than what I was expecting. So I've ended up using a home kitchen. It was a pretty easy process to sort with the council, and obviously low cost. So
did you need to get it health and safety approved?
Yeah, so you register the food business with the local council, and then they'll give you a phone assessment or come and visit the site. But with it being dairy and egg free, it was a low risk business, so they just did a phone assessment and can ask me a few questions, make sure I know.
So they didn't even come and see your kitchen?
No. could be doing it in a garden shed.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, it's all legit. So.
And why did you choose vegan specifically?
I've been a vegan for nearly 13 years now. And when I lived in Bournemouth, because I went to uni in Bournemouth, I ended up working in a vegan restaurant after I finished uni. I was into food anyway. And
in Bournemouth?
Yeah. A place called the Mad Cucumber, yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah. I worked there for maybe 7 months. It was definitely one of the best jobs I've ever had.
Yeah.
Just learnt so much, different food to cook every day, and that's kind of where I got the professional approach to food as well, and learn how to bake bread, make a load of different cakes. And while I was working there, I was I know that I want to work in food or run my own food business at some point. So I've always had this idea to do my own food van or open my own cafe. And for whatever reason, I just haven't done that yet. And I thought vegan cake could be a good way to kind of test out the self-employed lifestyle and kind of work my way into the market.
How are you finding self-employed?
Well, I work part-time as well, work in Wetherspoons. So I do 20 to 30 hours a week there to cover all my bills and feed myself. And then there's no pressure on the cake side of things then.
Yeah, I bet that's quite nice to have everything covered.
Yeah, luckily I do it over 2 days normally. The manager's pretty understanding of the whole self-employed situation. So,
do you feel like it's picked up the demand for vegan food across the board?
What?
Like over the
just in general.
How long have you done it? A year?
Just over a year now.
Just over a year.
Or just under a year.
Yeah, because I've been vegan for like 3.5, 4 years or so. And I mean, it's way easier to get vegan food now than it was back then.
Gone crazy over the past 2 years as well. I remember before I left for Bournemouth, there was hardly anything in Cornwall for vegans really. Like, it was rare to find a vegan option at a restaurant, and there was probably only like one veggie or vegan cafe or restaurant that I knew of in Cornwall. And then when I got back from Bournemouth, I was pretty surprised at how things had moved on down here. And then just over the past few years since I've been back, it seems to have gone crazy.
So did you know each other from Bournemouth Uni?
No.
Oh, so you went at different times?
I think we may have gone at the same time. I was 2010, 2014.
So, same as me.
So yeah, there at the same time, didn't know each other.
Probably bumped into each other in the old fire station at some point.
I think one of my mates I went to knows Josh Ogden, who you know. Is it Josh Ogden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of your mates?
He's one of my mates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were probably not that far away. We probably were at a house party.
Is that Greg?
At some point. Yeah.
Greg Raven?
Greg Furno.
Oh, okay.
I think I was there over those years as well.
That's bizarre.
How small was that?
I seem to meet a lot of Bournemouth people in Newquay.
Yeah.
It's
well, I think because you choose...
It's like a halfway house down from...
Yeah, you choose that uni.
Yeah.
By the sea.
And I realise it's full of old people. And it's a bit bland.
Did you surf there? No.
I only got into surfing since I moved here, sort of after uni, really.
Yeah, I'm the same. I
usually
had my first ever lesson at Boscombe.
Really?
And then didn't surf for like
that's a great place
couple of years after.
It's not going to give you like motivation to carry on surfing.
Yeah, no, it was a couple of years after when I kind of started getting into it. What did you study?
Product design.
Okay.
Yeah, so more 3D sort of stuff.
Alex?
Photography.
Yeah.
He's a good photographer.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, cheers.
Prophecy.
I don't really photograph much anymore. Do some live music stuff, and if I ever go away on trips, like travelling, always have a 35mm camera.
Like video stuff or just...
No, like just analog photos. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I did sports management. So we probably wouldn't have crossed paths.
No.
Three pretty different courses. Small work. And Harrison, what are you working on at the moment?
So I'm a sort of freelance designer. So using my product background, I sort of do all range of things now, so sort of branding and graphics and self-taught myself web stuff as well. But I'm working on like Generation V, so it's sort of a new clothing brand. So it's just all of my own artwork, hand-drawn stuff, trying to create something that's like, I hate saying the word, but cool, like for lack of a better word. Sound like a grandma when you say that, like frat trendy.
Yeah.
But I personally don't want to walk around in a t-shirt that says I'm a vegan in capital letters on the front. So it's that sort of element to actually designing it, and there's a lot of brands I like that are not vegan brands, but that similar sort of style, sort of hand-drawn artwork, that sort of stuff. It's all got a message on there.
But without being too cringy.
Without being cringy. And it doesn't, none of the t-shirts say vegan on it. So...
Is it just t-shirts? Like a range?
Yeah, at the minute, just t-shirts. I want to do some more sort of patches and stuff, and I've got some ideas in terms of like campaigns I'd like to run in terms of sort of almost like fake food adverts. Similar to like the Go Vegan World sort of, you know, their advertising campaign. I don't know if you've seen it around. It's gone all over billboards all over the world. It's quite popular.
Don't think I've seen them actually.
But I've had sort of just ideas in terms of more, so it's more to do with just like using my skills as a form of activism, I guess. Finding that little niche where I can actually feel like I'm contributing. It's quite draining working for other people all the time. Sort of.
Is the activism the root of the brand itself?
I guess so. Yeah. It's a mix of things, wanting to sort of feeling like there's a bit of a gap for it, and then wanting to do a bit more, like do my bit, I guess. And yeah, doing something for myself as well. So rather than just freelancing for everyone else, it's nice to be able to sit down and draw for my own company, something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And I run it as a non-profit, so like donate money to charities. That's always quite nice.
Oh, cool.
Like if I get some sales come through, I'd sort of donate 20%, and it's nice to be able to send that money off to an animal sanctuary.
So do you do is it the Newquay?
No, I do. It's Friend. They're called Friend Farm Animal Sanctuary. It's up in Kent, but they're just quite good at promoting veganism. They're not just an animal sanctuary that has a barbecue to raise money for it or something.
Yeah.
Speciesist like that. So it's quite good in that sense. They're a pretty good team.
Cool. See, I didn't know that from looking. That's really good though. So you don't make any profit out of it?
I just reinvest the money. I do it on the side.
Has it got charity status?
No, I just running it as basically I'm kind of just running it through my sort of business activities as a freelance designer. So I spend the money that I would otherwise just sit in my bank, or I pay for myself and use that to sort of invest in the sort of new products and stuff. Cool.
And when you say you're interested in like using campaigns to promote it, what does that mean?
Well, I just had I haven't got around to it yet. It's more of sort of a broader idea. I've always had this idea to try and create some sort of like fake products, and just a way of opening people's eyes, I guess, in terms of like creating a fake advertising campaign for milk, say, but calling it I don't know.
I think I've seen a couple out there.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you know? I forget the name, but there's like a group of people, I think based in London, that are like anti-advertising. So they do a lot of things like online. They have instructions on how to change the posters on bus stations.
Right.
So they tell you how
I think I've seen
to
that,
sort the keys and stuff like that.
It's not the strike guys, is it?
No,
because there's like a political news. It's like a zine newspaper type thing called Strike. It's really cool. They get loads of good contributions, and they've got a similar thing as well.
Yeah, I've got a book about it on there, which is annoying because I can't remember the name, but they do a ton of like really interesting campaigns. A lot of similar stuff.
Yeah.
They'll take like an advert, like a billboard of Nike or something like that, and then they'll re-plaster the same billboard, but change like little things to make it obvious, like what kind of child labour they use, or not saying Nike does, but that kind of vibe. Really clever stuff as well.
Yeah, it's I think it's been used more like within veganism, like Oatly, the oat milk company. They've invested quite a bit of money in advertising around London with their
across Europe, isn't it? That huge campaign.
Yeah, and like in tube stations and stuff. And they got quite a lot of backlash from the dairy industry because they're saying like oat milk's made for humans, unlike cow's milk. So it's something similar to that, but yeah, it's interesting to see how.
Isn't in America that's illegal? I think you can't do anything.
Kind of bad mouth.
You can't do anything to affect the sales of dairy.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Dairy, meat, and eggs or something like that.
I think you can get done under like the Patriot Act or something.
Like really ridiculous.
Yeah, that Oatly one says it's like milk but for humans.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
And they couldn't keep up with demand after that because they pushed it out across like London and.
Because I remember a load of coffee shops didn't have Oatly for a while.
It's gone, yeah.
They got that minor figures stuff in quite a while.
And then so you do the teas and Generation D, and you do the cakes on your own, but together you do.
Yeah, we've just taken on sort of vegan events in Cornwall now. So not the Cornwall Vegans group have run a Cornwall Vegan Festival for a while now. It's not running this year, unfortunately, but separate to that, a lady called Lisa just started up sounding out whether they'd be anyone interested in sort of regular markets rather than just a one-off, once a year festival. And she did a really good job in getting that going.
Yeah.
Testing the water, she tried to do it sort of like every weekend or every other weekend, and it was some of them were really good, some of them were quiet, as you'd expect if you're trying to do something regularly. So she just got to a point where she couldn't push it anymore, and me and Alex were talking about trying to do our own thing anyway. So sort of the two things came together, and then we've ended up taking control of what was her little business.
Yeah.
And trying to put our sort of spin on it.
We guaranteed 2 stalls.
Guaranteed 2 stalls. You get a really nice t-shirt and some really good cake.
Whatever happens, there's cake.
Yeah.
Usually I'm just stood there watching Alex sell loads of cake.
Yeah, it takes me ages to set up.
I help him set up, pack down, eat his cake, most of the stuff.
But yeah, we did our first 2 markets just before Christmas. Did a Christmas market in Falmouth and then one in Newquay as well, and they were pretty well received. We had good feedback from traders and visitors, so we're like, yeah, we'll definitely do some more of this. We wanted to try and make it a bit more of a social event as well, and just a bit more upbeat, so we had music playing at the Christmas market in Newquay, a really good variety of stall holders, and it was an evening market as well.
I went.
Did you go to it?
Yeah,
sweet.
Really good food.
We had sloth and sparrow from Falmouth. Doing that awesome food.
Mexican food, So we're trying to...
I had nachos and a burrito.
Yeah, so good.
Cake.
I never got to eat the nachos. I was pretty gutted.
How do you find, is it easy to get stalls and get people selling at these events?
It has been. I mean, I guess due to our size, we've sort of naturally just don't have that much space anyway in terms of the markets we're putting on. So we've got quite a good list of people that we know are interested from being around and going to them before. And then since we've taken it over and sort of rebranded it slightly, we've had quite a lot of people get in touch with me. So.
Yeah, we had loads of people. It was actually pretty hard to
fit
because we did that first one at Whiskers. It was quite a small space, but we wanted to try and create that sort of night market
intimacy.
Vibe, I guess. Yeah.
I really, honestly, it's the favourite market I've been to because you had loads of little areas. You could go get your Mexican and you could get a beer from the bar.
Well, that's the other thing. There was a bar there. So.
and you can sit in the corner or you could chat to people that were there.
Yeah.
Whereas some markets you go
good,
to.
Thanks, man.
Why not? Talking of beer.
I'll have another one if there's one. Yeah, some markets you go to and it's I don't know, you end up.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, because a lot of the other ones were in church halls, and it almost felt a bit like a weekend jumble sale. Because it was a massive hall and it didn't feel like it was very busy or filled out, and it's just tables in a big empty hall basically.
Where did you do the one in Falmouth?
So we did it at Curious Hall, which is just off the moor. It's hard to describe exactly where it is. Lots of people that came were didn't even know this was here. It's really interested in building, isn't it? They've got sort of a couple of shops downstairs that rent the space permanently. Yeah,
the dude that runs it, I think he just collects and sells antiques and art pieces.
Really arty. It's quite an interesting venue. But no, that was moving it away from the church halls was something we wanted to do. Lisa did a great job getting a following. It had nearly 1,000 likes on Facebook, and she did what she could. She did really well in getting it going. But I think if you're trying to shine a good light on anything, you're not going to do it by having a market in a church hall, just because church halls are so old. It's like going back to primary school.
I think as well, because we've probably been to quite a few other vegan events outside of Cornwall, Veg Fest, and then I've not actually been to one of them yet, but things like vegan nights in London, you see that and we're that's something that immediately makes you want to go.
That's been a big inspiration on me, is that vegan nights stuff that's going on in London. And it's just that kind of, it's that nighttime market festival. They got music line up, loads of stalls, loads of food, music playing. And I think that's what I mean, when we were talking initially, before we even sort of took on this, as it was, Vegan Events Cornwall, like we were saying how cool it would be to try and do a sort of a night market type thing. And that's when Nicole sort of came into the picture with owning Whiskers and having that sort of venue. I mean, my like end goal, I guess, would be to be able to organise, like a proper street sort of festival in Newquay, like section of the road cordoned off, loads of food stalls, like a stage with a line-up, like loads of, like just for an evening, or multiple venues, that sort of stuff. But sort of like
over the summer, definitely.
Yeah, exactly, like a summer nighttime thing. And we're going to do it a little bit more sporadic, so not sort of every second week you'll find us here, like every 2-3 months we'll put an event on.
A big one.
Yeah, try and do like a springtime thing, something in the summer in the night, a Christmas one. Just create a bit more demand for it.
Yeah, just put more energy into like fewer events, basically.
Because like Exeter Vegan Market is quite successful, and they do that every 2 months. So there's a good build up.
And obviously it's like a fairly big city as well, so...
Yeah, definitely.
I think, that's nice. It's just a shame that like it can't be done on the regular because we want good vegan food as much as possible. And did you see Safu permanently closed today?
Yeah.
Which is like my favourite.
They did good
place
vegan
to eat
sushi.
here, man. They did really good vegan food. And now the Beach Lamb had quite a lot of vegan stuff.
Yeah.
And that's shut.
Yeah.
We've got Green Heart, which is it's the only depends whether you classify Sprout as like a cafe as well. I guess it is as well. But they're like the only veggie vegan restaurant in Newquay really, other than Sprout. Green Heart. But like so many places have vegan options now anyway, even though some places have closed. Like even the chains like Frankie and Benny's, because they work with Peter to create like a vegan menu. Yeah. I wasn't too into that. Not like it was like a tenner and you get a tiny little dish. Yeah. I was more into the barbecue pizza and the what else did I have?
Yeah, we live like Frankie and Benny's is on that corner, so we've had a few.
Mac and cheese on tap.
We've popped up.
Yeah, they have 50% off all January as well.
Did they?
Yeah, there's a Veganuary voucher.
I didn't know.
Did you not?
Well, yeah. And Gilmore's does some really nice.
Yeah, like vegan tacos.
Vegan burrito. Vegan burrito. Vegan
Wet Dog Pizza also do really good vegan pizza. Yeah, they have
their 2 for 1s as well. Wednesday and
Friday nights, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, they're meant to open tonight actually, but I think a member of staff forgot, so they're opening tomorrow now.
Directly timed.
Yeah, but they do their own homemade like cashew ricotta cheese and things like that. I think they're working on their own like vegan pepperoni to put on the pizza as well. So
yeah, what do you think about like eating fake meat?
Fake meats. Depends why you're a vegan. Really, I think like mock meats are a great substitute for maybe meat eaters who realise there's a bit of an ethical issue of eating meat, but they don't want to give up certain flavours or textures, so they can just swap like a cruelty-free version for something they normally eat, and it makes it easier for them to cut meat out of their diet. I guess it's also it makes it easier for people that are transitioning from like eating meat to being like a fully fledged veggie or vegan, because you can literally just swap like sausages in a meal for veggie or vegan sausages. I think there's definitely a place for them, because you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, why do you want to eat stuff that looks or tastes like meat?" And it's not. I think for most people, it's not you're going out of your way to like find stuff that imitates meat. It's just a convenience thing.
Yeah, and if you flip that on its head, it's like, why would you not eat something that tastes as good without all of the negative connotations sort of thing? And I think that some of them are really good. Some of them are still developing.
Yeah.
But then the market's only been around for a few years,
and
really.
I think some of them are getting so realistic, it's almost like...
You hear people like saying they don't like it because it's too realistic.
Yeah. I think for me, there's some things, like I don't know if you've seen in Sainsbury's, there's the Meatless Meat Co, I think they're called. they've got like vegan mints in a tray. It actually looks like mint, and
Really
that kind of
does.
grosses me out a bit. Like,
Yeah, that's
I'd like convince people to try it if they weren't veggie or vegan, just to see what they think of it. But I think there's certain things like, don't know, yeah, it's just kind of off-putting for me because the sight of meat kind of raises all these like emotions and like associations with what you know goes into like the production of it. So.
I think mince is like the worst meat as well. It's not meat, is it? It's like, what is that? It looks like Play-Doh.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I try and avoid it as much as I can, especially if I think it's like really heavily
processed. Yeah. I'm the
because
same.
I kind of, I didn't want to swap like meat for this weird thing that I don't even know what it's made out of.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think like
just because it looks like a sausage.
Leading off of that, like I'm similar in the sense that two of the reasons I went vegan were for the environment and health reasons. So I don't want to swap meat that is bad for the environment for something that's made in a factory or whatever. And then also in terms of health, like you can't get any better than eating just straight up plants. Beans in terms of protein and like nutrients, that sort of stuff, rather than something that is created and it's got, as you said, like lots of different elements added to it.
Yeah, because a lot of it is just either gluten, which is calories and a bit of protein, but there's not much nutrition in it. Other than that, so it's like great as like a texture replacement, but there's not really nutrition in it. So if it, because there's also that thing where people think, if it's vegan, it must be healthy, but it's not
your
always
cakes
the case.
aren't healthy, mate.
And there's a whole like, I think now that it's becoming a bit more popular, there's a lot of companies that are just slapping like vegan onto everything because they know that it's associated with health. Like Shreddies and
definite buzzword, isn't it?
And it's amazing because Nestle are so big on dairy, and then they're proudly promoting veganism on their cereal packets.
Yeah, and they definitely don't care about the environment.
No, Nestle are a naughty company.
We don't. Me and Aga make a point of not buying anything from Nestle.
Yeah, and I think like those sort of processed substitutes, like you said, I just have them every now and then as a sort of a treat, I guess. I try and I use lentils in sort of mince, and like instead of mince, like bologneses and chilies and beans and things like that.
I think if you make that direct swap, I think you miss out on one of the best things you get from going vegan. Like I remember I went veggie for like a month and then went vegan, and I had to like reinvent every dish I've ever made.
It's the best thing for your cooking, isn't it?
Yeah, you learn so much about food.
Yeah,
it's made for cooking. Like you. When I swapped, it just made it so much fun. Again, like you're like, how can I make this? How can I recreate that? It's 100%.
It's new dishes.
Yeah.
Unless if all you were eating is sausage and mash, and then now you're eating
vegan
veggie sausage and mash, like you're not. Yeah, I guess you don't. It doesn't add that much to you.
It definitely makes you more creative in the kitchen, like having to transition to veganism, especially because you're looking at in a load of recipe books or websites online for new recipes, and you see all these new ideas and like new foods that you've never probably never experienced before. So.
How strict are you two? Are you like won't touch anything?
Yeah, I'm level 13 vegan. I don't mind if something says may contain traces of, if it's say like a dark chocolate made in a factory that also produces milk chocolate. I don't have an issue with that because I'm not allergic to dairy.
I think I'm a little bit more relaxed now than I was at the beginning. Only in that, like if I'm at someone's wedding and their wedding cake's got egg in it, then I'll probably have a slice just because it's there.
Out of politeness.
Yeah,
it's been made already.
Well, I don't want to experience it. Like I don't want to miss out on someone's wedding cake because of a little bit of egg that will be there anyway.
Yeah,
and will be thrown out if I don't eat it. And yeah, if someone's going to chuck away a packet of biscuits, I might save it from the bin and. Sounds like I eat out of the bin, but
I did when I lived in Bournemouth.
Probably
Waitrose had loads of good stuff in the bins.
Yeah, like
I even found vegan haggis in the bins in Waitrose.
You can't even find vegan haggis in the store.
In the actual store, yeah. Alex has stole it all out of the bin.
Always loads of good bananas and
yeah.
I think it depends why you're vegan with the whole strictness thing. Like for me, it was primarily an ethical thing, but it's also like health and environmental. But I think for me, I just try and boycott like any product that uses like animal products in it, just as a statement. And I don't think it's extreme. It's just my way. I wouldn't like belittle other people for like your stance where you wouldn't see anything go to waste. I think that's a good stance to have.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about like. If someone's literally about to throw something in the bin, like I guess there is that argument like it's going in the bin.
Yeah. But weirdly, like I would only do that if it doesn't look like, like I wouldn't eat a chicken
steak.
I wouldn't eat any meat.
Yeah,
whatever. Because I just
like
find
the
it
sort of the veggie aspect of it, I guess.
But like I would probably, or an egg, like if it was like. A fried egg, I'd probably be a bit like But if it was a milk trace in a custard cream biscuit or something, then I might, I don't know. It's easy to ignore.
Yeah, because it's hard. Because if you've gone vegan partly because of like environmental reasons, and that's taken into account like resources and waste, it's then hypocritical for you to not eat something that's going to go to waste and then have to buy something that wouldn't have been bought. And creating demand for like extra food and production. So
that's me pretty much
in a nutshell. Yeah. And I think like you said about the whole contains traces of or whatever. I think some people they refuse to buy products from non-vegan companies, even say they are vegan products, like a vegan option from a big company.
Yeah,
and like whilst you can do as much as you can in terms of boycotting Nestle and things like that, companies are bad or whatever, I think you've got to create the demand for the product. So I will always try, and whilst I'll always try and support smaller local 100% vegan businesses, if someone brings out a vegan option, you've got to make an effort to buy that option.
I think it's important to get that balance, because
I mean, from a completely like level-headed point of view, if veganism did take over the world, it's still going to be the same companies running the world. Still going to be Coca-Cola or whoever. They're just
like
going to
12 companies.
They're just going to own the vegan companies.
Yeah.
Which is a horrible way to think of it.
Well,
but that's putting a sort of a level-headed, realistic hat on.
I think so, but then also, from my experience over the last few years, you've got like, and one of my probably second favourite thing about going vegan is if you ever go away or you go somewhere new and you look on Happy Cow and you find like the vegan restaurant, you end up in like you never end up in a chain. You never end up in a tourist trap. Or like the main strip or anything like that. You end up in some like alternative quarter of wherever you are travelling, in some like always independent shop.
And you always have a conversation starter as well. So good way to meet locals.
And explore like, I don't know, more characterful parts.
Definitely led me to like when I've been in places like Lisbon and
I was gonna
Berlin
say Lisbon
as well.
Lisbon was cool. We
There's
probably went
so
to the
much
same
to
place.
Same time.
Vegan burger. Did you go there? That was like a small local vegan burger chain, but amazing.
I went to like a all-you-can-eat Indian vegan place.
Nice.
Like all-you-can-eat.
I found an all-you-can-eat place in Porto. That was pretty cool. I didn't believe it was all vegan at first, because I knew it was a vegetarian place, but I had to double check it was vegan because it looks so good. There's like pastry, desserts, and you just go there at lunchtime. It was like €15 all you can eat. It's all this amazing food.
I think Portugal is pretty good for that stuff. I mean, they're quite progressive on drugs and a lot of other topics. I think as the population goes, they're pretty.
Yeah, I think that must be pretty recent because they're like quite a big nation of like fish and meat eaters. And I remember going there when I just turned vegan when I was 15. And like we were only in a small like resort in the Algarve with loads of like traditional fish restaurants, but it was really hard to eat then. Like I lived off, I think, chips and a bit of fruit. Yeah, it's definitely every time I like return to Portugal, there's new stuff going on.
Yeah. We Corey's done a walk through Spain.
Oh, the El Camino.
Yeah. He did that in September.
Sweet.
And I did it a couple of years ago. Literally a couple of months before I went vegan. And the girlfriend's vegetarian. But in like Spain, they basically...
I was going to say, it's just meat and cheese.
Yeah. And you go and you ask for a vegetarian option, they give you like tuna.
Yeah.
It's like a tuna salad is what they consider vegan.
I think even Spain is changing now though, because me and my girlfriend just went to Alicante recently, and there's a vegan gluten-free bakery in Alicante, and we're there like every morning. Spent about €20 a day in there.
Croissants.
Yeah, like chocolate croissants, loads of cheesecakes, like loads of like Spanish pastries as well.
That's the one thing I miss, croissants.
Yeah, there's some good French croissants in Sainsbury's now that are vegan. It's a French company.
Oh yeah.
They're palm oil free as well. They are wrapped in plastic though.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit of a
Do
trade
you
off.
have to bake in the oven?
No, they're made.
Oh, they're already made.
It's like a new company that Sainsbury's have started stocking.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Dude, I've got to ask you, you're wearing a Sea Shepherd hat.
Yeah.
I love that thing. Are you, how much do you know about it?
A fair bit, just through getting into veganism and animal rights and environmentalism.
Yeah.
Just sort of looked into them more and more.
Give us the rundown for anyone that doesn't know what the Sea Shepherd is.
Sea Shepherd. So I can't remember, it's Paul Watson, isn't it, who founded it, started it?
Yeah, it used to be part of Greenpeace.
And he's got a fleet of ships that they're sort of a was it direct action is what you define it as, which I think has got to be defended. Any sort of charity or organisation that does direct action is what you need in society to sort of make people think about what's right and wrong. So they're out in the seas, literally stopping people from whaling or anything.
Mainly like Japan, isn't it? That kind of area.
Yeah, and sort of in the Antarctic and that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, I've watched some stuff. It's like hardcore
It's proper
direct
hardcore.
action, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty
Right in the thick
dedicated
of it.
people.
Yeah, Aga's like super keen to. She wants to go on it.
I
if
like
you can.
volunteer,
Yeah, I think you need to like speak a couple of languages, and have like a trade,
Oh, right,
like
okay.
a skill that
that you can offer.
bring to the boat. Yeah, have you either of you been involved in any direct action yourself, or?
Not me, no.
No.
I'm more sort of open to, I guess, doing activism on the street and talking to people now. But I guess one of the things one of the reasons I started the whole Generation B thing was to sort of start that journey of being a bit more active.
Is there anything like that around Newquay area?
Yeah, I mean, it's more Truro based, but there is some sort of they do like the cubes of truth, is it, in Truro? So there are opportunities to go and get on the street and actually talk to people, which I'd like to do a bit more of.
There's a lot of the vegan community will go. They're called saves, and it's basically people going to like abattoirs and slaughterhouses and just kind of being outside the gates as lorries and trucks are coming in with animals, and it's almost, you're just there to witness it happening.
Well, like the vigil thing.
Yeah, and you're almost kind of like paying respect to these animals that are about to be slaughtered, and just like wish them, I don't know, a better next life if that's what you believe in. But there's stuff like that going on as well. I've been to one because I thought I was in a similar position to Harrison where I've not really done any activism. I don't know if it's classified as activism, but I thought I want to go and experience it for myself. And it was good in the sense that it reminded me of why I became a vegan. Like, it brought me back down to earth a bit, because being vegan for quite a while, it's just like you kind of forget the founding principles, and I was just like, wow, yeah, like this is why I'm vegan. And that's probably kind of what fired me up to partly to become like self-employed as well with the cake stuff, because I was like, I need to do a bit more to promote veganism in a positive way. And
well, there's the quote from, I don't know who says it, but it's like, if all abattoirs had glass walls, like everyone would be vegan.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about, I've never seen an animal be killed, like, and yet, you know, because of my diet, I probably killed thousands and thousands, but I haven't seen that. I haven't you know.
I can remember watching a video like when I went from being a proper meat eating omnivore, full freezer and fridge, to like vegan within a week. Just like proper hit me, and like through that sort of transitional period, there was a bit. I watched the video. It was on like the Guardian website. It was to do with like halal or kosher or something. Can't remember exactly what production, but there was this footage of people abusing sheep in a slaughterhouse, and then they had like blunt knives and stuff, like slitting their throats. And I can remember watching that, thinking that stuff like that didn't affect me, and I properly felt like sick to my stomach. And I sat there at my desk, just like, did not expect that to affect me like that. And then I watched Earthlings, which, as a documentary, I think everyone should watch.
that's hard hitting.
And I couldn't finish that. I turned it off. Like you were saying, your diet can, effectively kill thousands of animals. And I think now, like, I'm completely happy with the realization that I couldn't do that myself. I've got mates that'd be like, yeah, I could, and my brother, for example, could probably quite easily go and slaughter, a cow or something. There's no way I could do that. So I'm never going to pay. I'm never going to go and pay someone to do it for me.
I've always had that position where it's like, if you wouldn't do it yourself, then you shouldn't be eating it. Like, you shouldn't be paying someone else to do it, because
I just don't think, like, I know for myself, I never really thought about it. I just eat and
because we're so disconnected from how food is produced.
Yeah, and almost like I was definitely brought up not to value the lives of things that aren't human anywhere near the same way that I would. I had a couple of cats when I grew up, and they would just shit everywhere, so we weren't like big fans of them. But so like, it was never a case that I felt really bad about what was happening to animals, because I'm so disconnected, and I've been brought up, not really valuing their lives. So,
what was it that made you interested in turning vegan then? What was the thing?
Well, I think I learned a bit more about it, and I don't like the idea of like industrialized use of something else. So I'm not necessarily against someone who wants to go out hunting with a bow and arrow, and I wouldn't do it myself, but as you each to their own. But I probably wouldn't. I just don't like the idea of having a factory which sole purpose is to like kill more and more and more and more because it's better for their profit line, and to do it in a really the priority is making more money. So if they can chemically enhance the size of a chicken breast, whatever the cost to the chicken, they'll do it because it means they...
I think that is where most of the cruelty comes from, is the industrialisation of it. Like you said, in terms of like going out and hunting yourself, if you're happy doing that, I still disagree with the murder of something when you can eat and live and thrive on a plant-based diet. In a survival situation, like maybe you have to do that, but when you don't have to do it to survive, I think, why not eat plants?
Yeah, and it goes back to that sort of old argument where they're like, we've always eaten meat, or cavemen ate meat, or whatever stupid argument people want to put forward. But if you go back far enough, they only started to eat meat in barren landscapes, things that can sustain you for longer. And I like, as you were saying about the bow and arrow hunting, like I did read a really good article on someone who was vegan and went back to eating meat, but only stuff that he could hunt himself. And he'd kill a deer, say, only if he knew 100% he would kill it in one shot, sort of clean, and he'd use every part of that animal, store it in a freezer, and it would be his food for so many months. And I think obviously if everyone started doing that, it would be a problem. But in terms of that mindset, like you were saying, we live in such a green and bountiful country, you don't need to. You can live off the land quite easily.
And to be honest, nowadays, that's the only real way to get good quality meat. What you're buying in the supermarkets probably look like shit.
Definitely. Vegetables as well, probably similar scenario. Like I think if you can just go as small and as local as you can, it's the best thing for it.
I was talking to the guys at Sprout a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying like nowadays you almost have to take vitamin supplements
because the soil's so fucked.
Because the soil's so bad that for you to get the same amount of nutrition in your food now as you would have got 50 years ago, you have to eat like 10 times as much.
I've heard that quite a lot.
And I mean, I'd never really thought about it. I always thought taking vitamins was a bit, I don't know, I don't like the idea of taking pills and stuff, but now I'm like knocking them back.
Well, like with the whole B12 thing again, like that's a big argument against veganism is the lack of B12, but that's just due to like the sanitization and the fact that everything is washed and bleached, and before you would grow something and eat it, and probably there'd be a bit of dirt, a bit of everything involved in it, and now we live in such a sanitized society that there's nothing, no bacteria,
even the B12 that people get from meat is fed as a supplement to the meat because they can't get it, because they don't have enough bacteria in their gut to make it from the food they're eating.
I like the idea that the like, where do you get your protein? And you're like, well, the same place that a cow gets its protein,
or an ox, which is
I just can't believe people still ask that question. And it's like, for me, that's the least of worries to veggies and vegans. Like the more serious things to consider are things like where you get iron from and things like that. Like protein's just so abundant in
veggies and beans and I mean, what do you think? Because not the last time I saw you, but the time before, was watching. Have you seen the documentary? The film with that Simon Amstel made?
Oh, Carnage.
No, I actually got around to watching it. Yeah, no.
So it's like,
was that at Sprout?
Yeah. So he's basically made a film. He's vegan, and it's like his ironic humour, and he set it 40 years in the future where everyone's vegan, and people are like, I don't know, like
they're at like counselling sessions, like forgiving themselves for having eaten meat and cheese, and they're like they're almost suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder from like the fact they actually used to eat animals and treat animals in that way. And then it goes back, doesn't it? And it's like the timeline leading up to the fully vegan or like nearly completely vegan UK.
Yeah, I think he shows a lot of quite difficult things to say in a nice, slips them in a less
with good humour, like you said.
Yeah, because sometimes I do agree that sometimes it's a hard thing to hold such a contrary view to what the general population has, especially about something that once you learn about it, you can easily get very passionate about.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what's happening. Simple things like eating dairy-free margarine to margarine, exactly the same. They cost the same.
Yeah.
They're next to each other in the supermarket. And one they have to kill cows for. One they don't. And for once you kind of think about stuff like that, and people just aren't keen, you're like, what the fuck?
I think with a lot of people, because they've been raised in a certain way where I know things like butter and milk, it's part of their tradition or part of a culture they feel part of. It's almost like an attack on their way of life to be saying suddenly, oh no, you shouldn't be eating that, you should be eating this stuff because that stuff's really bad. I think people can take it quite personally, so I think being a bit more sensitive in our approach to how we address these kind of things with non-vegans.
I try not to because definitely when I first started, people just ask why have you gone vegan, and I'd tell them, and suddenly it would be they'd get their defences up, because I think it comes across as you're eating that way and you think that way, therefore you're telling me that my way is wrong.
Yeah.
That
I'm a bad person.
Yeah, whereas actually this is just a choice that for me works.
Yeah, it's a massive defence mechanism, and it just pops up.
And I'm sure there's a ton of things that I do that if someone told me, they'd be looking at me going, oh, look at you, buddy. Keep doing this or that, or you're buying from this.
Going vegan doesn't just make you a perfect person.
No, definitely not. Definitely.
There's loads of stuff to fix in the world still. But just step by step, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a bit overwhelming to try and tackle it all.
Yeah. Well, how do you? Because I personally, I went through a stage where I felt a bit overwhelmed with just the sheer volume of stuff that you can change. If you go by that mindset of live how you would what's the Gandhi quote? Everyone knows the one.
Well, his thing was leading by example, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so live how you would like the world to live.
Yeah.
I think. If you go down that route and then you start learning about, all these companies like Nestle that you don't want to support, or shopping local, or getting rid of plastics, getting rid of meat and dairy, and your carbon footprint, and so on. Soon you're living in a hut. On your own.
Two of the things that are on my mind at the moment are plastic and palm oil in vegan foods. There's everyone uses quite a lot of plastic in their daily life, and it's almost a new sideline in addition to veganism. There's this big campaign going on at the moment, which is great because we use way too much plastic, especially single-use stuff.
I think that's the main issue in it, is single-use stuff. I think there's a danger of demonising plastic, where plastic is a really good material. In a lot of applications it can match, in terms of its properties and how it performs. It is the right choice.
Yeah,
but it's that single-use stuff that can be recycled that just gets made and straight in the bin. It's that sort of linear economy.
Stuff that doesn't need to exist in the first place.
You don't need
fruit wrapped in plastic.
Cut up a pineapple and put it in a plastic pot. What did I see the other day was avocados. And there was a comment on Facebook. It was like, if only an avocado came with a
skin
protective.
Yeah, it's like I've seen one of them for bananas as well.
Yeah,
Like bananas that are in bags. It's like they've got their own skin on.
I've seen a coconut in a plastic wrap before.
That's
like,
insane.
a coconut. You couldn't break that if you tried.
Yeah,
It's mad.
yeah. So, I mean, what do you two do yourselves to cut down on plastic?
I've got into it in the last year. My girlfriend will tell you I've gone jar crazy. Like any jar that I'm on, that'd be a decent jar.
It's all about jars.
Like it's gone a bit over the top, but no, I'm doing my best to try and cut it out. I came across a company today called Who Gives a Crap, that
Like the toilet paper
company.
Yeah,
So that was what I'm trying to look at, things like that you literally can't get.
They deliver.
They deliver it. It's all plastic free,
Massive
and it's not new paper. So you're not actually using any trees. It's all recycled. It's all biodegradable, free of perfumes and inks and that sort of stuff. So I'm sort of slowly making my way through my life. I guess veganism was the start of. It starts on your plate and it sort of spreads out.
Opens up a massive can of worms.
And I know what you're saying. Like all of a sudden, it feels like it can be quite depressing. I think a lot of vegan activists do suffer from quite big like highs and lows.
Yeah.
Just because you're aware of what's going on. So it can be quite a hard place to be. But you just I'm trying to do my bit. I think with palm oil, like you've got to view it quite level-headedly. Like sustainably produced palm oil is the best oil in terms of the yield you can get per square foot. Like it is the best.
And if
it's produced properly, it's fine. But obviously, if you're chopping down new rainforest to grow it because there's a demand for it, that's an issue. But
you kind of think that's definitely a consumer problem, because it's like you said. I think it's the fastest growing like oil that you can have.
Yeah.
And if people are still demanding something like that in their products,
I don't know if it is people demanding it being in the products. It's like the products already have it in because it's like a really useful oil, similar to plastic situation. Like it's got loads of useful properties as an oil.
Yeah.
So all these products have been developed with palm oil.
Yeah.
And like people don't want to give up a certain product for whatever reason.
That's what I mean, because otherwise they're going to be replaced with
something worse.
Something
Potentially.
that potentially requires more water and more space to produce the same amount of.
I think as well, like I've noticed occasionally when you look on an ingredients list, like how often it just says vegetable oils and it doesn't actually say palm. It's really sort of trying to hide it away.
There's like 20
different
names that can go.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah, they can bury it under quite a lot of stuff. So you've got to really look into it. But I mean, like my brother said to me once, he was like, "You're trying to cut out, you're vegan, you're trying to do this." One of his arguments was, if you're trying to cut out palm oil, if you go in the shop and look at everything, it's all got palm oil in. And I was like, pretty sure bananas don't have palm oil in. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you're reading McVitie's biscuits, of course they're going to have oil in, but you've got to change. I try and only have things like that as a treat, as they should be. You shouldn't be going down the processed aisles picking up a shitload of stuff when you're shopping.
Yeah.
The best thing about being vegan is you go into a supermarket, you're pretty much finished by the first aisle. Fruit and veg, bang, bang, and then you're out. You go and maybe get something else. So yeah, I'm trying to do my bit. I've started making my own oat milk at home to try and get rid of those cartons.
How's that working out?
Yeah, it's good, man. I've gone a bit rogue sometimes with like putting things in it and it ends up tasting like ass. But
how do you even do that?
Just soak oats. Yeah, soak them, and put them in a blender,
and then
strain them.
Vegan cheesecloth.
Easy, man. So easy, and it's got back to that sort of like we ran out of milk today, but it's kind of like oh well, that I'll have to make some more.
The blender out.
But it makes you sort of appreciate it, because it's like almost a treat to have it, not something that's just like you're taking this, you're taking this, taking.
We're so used to just being able to get whatever we want or need whenever now. It's like we take so much for granted. Whereas like the approach that Harrison's taken there, it's like, we don't have any, and you actually think about it, and you might appreciate it more. Like when you do.
We went to this plastic free event on Tuesday or Monday. And the lady there was saying, like, you know, people kind of need to go back to what it was like in the 30s, 40s, 50s, where you're eating seasonal veg, and you're buying from local suppliers. So
yeah, I had that thought the other day when I did my shopping and I had all my bags, you know, took them out and I was going to loads of different shops, and then I finished at like the fruit and veg stop on Chester Road, and like that's, you know, you can get all your stuff without plastic on. But I had that thought of like, this is what it was like 60 years ago, sort of walking around with bags rather than just getting carry bags, and buying from lots of different places rather than just going straight to a supermarket.
Butchers, your
exactly.
fruit and veg shop, your bakery and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this podcast, is like shine a light on a lot of independent businesses and encourage people to like shop local and because you might not know, you know, that there's a local cake maker, or
that's it. It's that it helps rebuild that sense of community as well, and you know, like lives can be pretty isolated nowadays with working patterns and how much time we spend using technology and stuff like that, and there's actually so many arguments for like rebuilding local communities just for, I know, like there's a lot of loneliness nowadays and things like, if you know someone in the local community and there's like things going on you know about, and you meet up with like-minded people.
I think almost like the death of the church, like I'm not religious myself, but losing that one place that used to draw people in and not be about making money. So it wasn't business based. It was like people would go on a Sunday and they'd hear from someone who wasn't being paid to advertise something or sell a message. They were there to just, you know, out of the goodness of their heart, get a message across.
Yeah, I think because they believe in something as well. Which is like,
what's replaced that? Like, there's
nothing.
Where do you go now to?
I think music's the closest you get potentially in terms of that.
Even then, like how much conversation and connection do you get in a?
But I think one of the things that was good for me when we did our little events was that sense of like, how good is this as just an evening, rather than sitting at home and watching Netflix again or something. You're actually going out and having a beer, like you said, tasting new food. You're talking with people that might have your opinion, but also hopefully might not. Someone who's come there who isn't. So like, the more of that sort of community events can happen.
It was like we first met at one of the vegan potlucks years ago, didn't we? Something the Cornwall vegans were running, like potluck events where you just take your own
a dish
food
and
to
then
contribute.
you've got a feast. And that's pretty cool to do.
I feel it's easier here than where I used to live.
Really?
I think there's less people, which makes it easier. And then maybe I've just made more of an effort. Like, I'd go to Sprout every day, or Coffee on the Corner, or a couple other places, and they're all nice spaces where everyone's really friendly and talk to you.
Do you mean it's easier because less people, as in it's less overwhelming, or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know. When I go back to London, I kind of feel like I don't know where to start. Like, who do I start talking to, and where do I start meeting people who have similar?
I guess there'll be loads going on in London and Bristol in terms of vegan options, but like being from Bristol, if I go back there, like you said, it's great, there's loads of cafes or whatever, I'll go there, but you go there and you sit on your own and you eat, you know, what you're eating with whoever you're with. You don't sort of talk to anyone else or get to know. So I think, Newquay's wicked. Such a cool little sort of hive of, you know, like a clash of culture and like loads of different people, and it's a pretty good little town.
And I think, like, I've said this before, definitely, but like everyone, like what we talked about earlier, a lot of people have moved here. So, like when I moved here in October, I think people have been through what I've been through, having moved here a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So they're a bit more like, I remember what it was like when I moved here. I'd love if someone invited me to this or that.
I think it's quite easy to just gel with people if you're new here, because the locals or the more local people are so used to people travelling like in and out in the summer season. It's like
I think just being here in December and January,
it's quite hard.
Yeah, definitely. And it's when it's at its best. I love it in the winter when it's a bit quieter and it's...
Yeah. I enjoy it for the first month, I think, and then I start to crave sunlight and
I like it up until Christmas. Yeah. And then I'm like, can it just be sunny now? Although the sun this time round was a bit worrying.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's amazing after the summer when it just goes really quiet and you've got all the beaches like pretty much empty and...
Or even just sitting in Sprout with your laptop doing 2 hours work and it's cool. It's wicked.
Yeah, it's nice. I definitely had someone talking about this the other day, and they were saying like American barbershops is like that's like the space where like men's barbershops.
Oh, like social space.
You bring like people come in and they socialise and they talk about things that it's a space where you have 2 or 3 people there all the time to get the conversation going, and they go and hang out, and I kind of want my barber to be like
I guess I get a sense of that from some American films I've watched probably. But, so I never remember having conversations. I haven't had my hair cut for like nearly 10 years.
There's a lot of hair under there. I can still remember the first time I saw it. I was like shell shocked. I was a kid when I last went to a barber's, so I probably wouldn't have been making conversation with men anyway.
Well, I think we can probably wrap it up. Do you want to maybe like just explain to people where they can, I don't know, find your cakes
vegan wares,
and vegan events and your t-shirts and stuff?
Well, vegan cake. Coffee on the Corner, quite a big stockist of my cake, and then Ruse Beach, Ruse Coffee at Porth. Sorry, Driftwood in the summer. Driftwood Deli.
Can people order like?
If you want like a cake for like a birthday or just celebration or to just eat while you're watching a film.
Cool.
Good
to know.
The website renaissancecakery.co.uk. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well, and obviously sell at the markets. There's a few markets coming up over the summer. The Roots Culture Vegan Market at Porth Town Eco Park.
Okay,
that'll be a good one. That's to replace the Cornwall Vegan Festival, which has been cancelled. And then there's a community fair at Newquay Community Orchard as well that I'll be at. And
obviously the sick markets that we're going to plan when we get around to it.
I reckon like a spring Easter launch around the end of April, start of May.
And then hopefully a few more throughout the year.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep them in one in Newquay and one in Falmouth?
I think at the minute, in terms of like for me, where the two sort of hubs of activity are in Cornwall, they're the coolest places. But I think like Truro would be cool to maybe do something, but
it's hard.
For now, we've got
you get these ideas and visions, and when it comes to actually making it a reality, it's quite a lot of work to put into it, and because it's like a side thing, it is hard to.
But I think we've got like a foot in the door in Falmouth and Newquay now, so we'll try and just develop it there.
I mean, I was at the Cornish Vegan in Truro.
Oh, that's so good.
On Wednesday. Yeah, they won best cafe in the whole of the southwest.
Yeah,
they've done really well.
And there's a couple of other like vegan places there as well. So it's definitely I think there's a market for it, but it's whether they would come to Newquay anyway. Yeah,
exactly. I think with Newquay and Falmouth, I'd like to think someone would go either way. If you're in Truro, you'd probably go to Falmouth for the event. If if it's run every couple of months and there's a build up and promotion of it. And then
the thing with Cornwall, like you have to drive places, right? Yeah. So if you want to have a beer and it's got to be local. I think just see how they go.
Yeah, and with the students sort of in Falmouth as well, there's quite a good base there anyway. So
I think that's why Falmouth ended up being such a good place for veganism in Cornwall as well because of the uni. For sure.
Yeah, the external sort of influence of everyone coming in.
Why do you think it's more young people that go vegan?
I think
just less ingrained habits.
Yeah, and ask more questions of how society is, I guess.
And also we've got a lot more information as well. And
at your fingertips.
I think part of the thing
that's a big thing, yeah.
led me to being vegan was my mum was a vegetarian and vegan, although it was never anything that was forced onto me. I ended up just out of my own curiosity, like when I had the internet as like a teenager, finding videos of stuff, and so I think things like the internet in our generation has definitely helped people learn about things. It's a double-edged sword, obviously, but
yeah. There's just so many documentaries now.
Yeah.
If you're a kid and you're into the right things and asking the right questions, you can learn about anything. Equally, you can sit and mull out for watches and crap. And Generation V stuff, where can we find that?
That's online on wearegenv.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and everything as well. Shop online. Buy from me. Money goes to charity.
Cool.
What else do you need? I'd also like to say about the Good Life in Newquay, zero waste shop. Go buy your stuff from there.
Yeah, if you're trying to go plastic free.
Yeah.
Sick little place.
I think I might try and...
Where is this Good Life place?
It's just up from Central Pub, sort of, where the Surfing Life surf shop is. It's just
Quite close to Sailors.
Yeah.
Next door to
Sailors.
Yeah.
Do you know the Way Project as well?
Opposite that.
Yeah.
And
really good.
They're really good. I would like to have. Is it the two of them that set it up?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to have them in as well.
That'd be a great podcast. Yeah, because things like Good Life popping up in Newquay it's going to promote this whole like reducing waste attitude and make it so much easier for people to reduce waste. So it's great. Newquay's definitely changing in good ways.
And I hope they make it
work. Yeah. They seem really open every time we go in. They're sort of open to asking what you think they're missing or what you need or what you're after, that sort of stuff. So
they do good vegan sweets.
Yeah, I know,
and they're really cheap as well.
Someone's got a sweet tooth.
Yeah, I had a pet
this
guy. Yeah, we buy those like apple rings. Have you had them?
Yes, cherry sours.
Yeah, but I think like you need a lot of shops like that around if you want to, be able to live the kind of life that it sounds like the three of us are into.
Yeah.
But I think they're quite hard to make, like sustainable businesses that stick around.
Yeah, I think that's why this community thing's important, because it's locals supporting these ideas and new businesses and really like making them work out in the long run.
I'd really like to see something like, because high streets are dying because of internet shopping. So like you walk through Newquay now and there's tons of to let empty shop fronts and stuff. I'd love to see the council just pick up a bit more of a green agenda and say, look, if you want to start a new business that is based around sustainable products, or you make it. If you make your business plastic free, we'll cut our business rates in half, or we'll cut, or we'll just give you the space, because otherwise it's going to be a dead shop.
Yeah, someone's got to lead first, haven't they?
Privately owned as well.
Do you think
that comes into it? Yeah, because obviously it might not be council owned retail.
But in that respect, I know a couple of councils that they'll increase your business rates if you don't have a tenant.
Okay.
Yeah, so like if it's owned privately, and you're not letting it out because you want a certain price or something like that, then they'll just basically tax you a little bit more than.
I think intervention like that's good sometimes.
Yeah. I thought that was the point of government,
100%.
Intervening for good.
For the good.
Yeah, absolutely.
and to encourage things like local independent businesses.
Yeah, because if it was left, like you said, if it's left to money, like you need to subsidise some things that aren't yet profitable to make them work because they are better for humanity. I mean, you look at like we were saying earlier about in America, like the meat and dairy industries, like they're subsidised massively to make them cost effective. If they weren't subsidised, the products would be stupidly expensive. You wouldn't buy it, or you'd buy it once a week as a treat.
I don't know how you get away with like being government and encouraging, like, you know, if you're subsidising one thing over another, you're encouraging demand and consumerism in that direction.
I think that happens a lot without us knowing, like especially places like America.
Even England, I think
Yeah.
I think oil companies get a lot of subsidies, whereas green, renewable-based stuff doesn't get as much.
Yeah, which is why it seems so expensive and non-viable, as they make you believe. But I think we just have more charity shops in town. That's where I go shopping anyway. So
Great for clothes in Newquay.
charity shops,
Yeah.
all the time.
I don't know.
British
I've
Red Cross
come-
is great.
Charity shops and then Generation B, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. I've come like I don't know. There's triple the charity shops in London, so I've come down here and I'm like,
Nothing.
don't know where to buy
Don't
my
have enough
clothes. I can't get any
choice.
clothes anymore.
Maybe you've got enough clothes already.
Yeah, but true. But I like the same. I think I did a massive when I moved in October. Just cleared out everything.
You realise how much stuff you have when you start
Yeah.
packing it up.
So just donated tons and tons to charity shops and did a whole cleanse.
It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was definitely. And then I realised I got a flat to populate with stuff. But, you know, you go like
Minimal, isn't it?
yeah, you go like months looking in charity shops for like one specific thing. Yeah. Cool. And where do people find out about the vegan events?
That's on Facebook, so I think it's Vegan Events Cornwall.
I think so.
It's not
It's
Vegan
Vegan
Cornwall
Events Cornwall.
It's Vegan Events Cornwall
Yeah.
on Facebook. And then, we'll be posting about that fairly soon because we're going to try and get the spring one up and running.
Sweet. Cool. Cheers, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Let's cut it there.
Very good, very good.